One of the most elusive aspects of Valorant maps reside within mid, and often goes misused or tragically underutilized by players across all ranks. Well, today we're gonna wipe off the dust of this phenomenon and give you the tips you need to get the most value out of the road least traveled. Welcome back to Esports Driven, and this is our comprehensive guide on mid-map strategies. The fundamental aspect with every mid is the initial choke point that must be crossed while going to a site. But immediately after passing that zone, the map usually expands out and lets the attackers swarm the other entrances to the bomb sites. And usually this choke point presented, or just zone the defenders will often contest, requires some level of team coordination to properly clear and take control of. This is why in a solo queue environment with close to no communication, 5-manning a bomb site is so common. It's one long path that allows direct access to the site, and every player can take initiative on their own accord. The problem with using this strategy too often is how predictable it makes your team as attackers. This leads to sites usually being stacked, with counter rush utility littering the play area. It's also why maps like Split and Ascent are so punishing to attackers, as the choke points are narrow and tough to break through. This brings us back to why mid control is so important. With consistent utility usage and zoning applied, this forces the defenders to stop stacking sites, and in turn spreads them out evenly across the map. You want this as attackers, as engagements will pretty much always be your entire team against one guy. So now that we understand the differences between direct site paths and mid, what kind of utility should be put into play for successful mid-split executes and lurks? This is where controller mains really get to shine. We see a lot of folks using their smoke agents for nothing more than smoking the defender rotation paths. While this is an expected and necessary part of a direct site execute, it barely scratches the surface of their potential. So let's repurpose them as default smokes. These are smokes your controller player will place at the beginning of every round to deny information to the defenders. For example, this smoke between the arches on Ascent. This shuts down any early aggression from defenders pushing up for a pick. Not only this, but if you have a teammate holding from tiles, any defender aggression from catwalk can be promptly punished as well. So thanks to this one simple smoke, this whole opening box is owned by the attackers. Another great example is Icebox Mid. The default smoke now goes on top of the boiler, which is the first point of contact the defenders can have onto the attackers. Now that their early information source is consistently denied, this lets your team scale into any of the 3 mid-map paths unnoticed. We wanted to clarify that this Viper Orb you sometimes see on Icebox isn't actually that great. The only real functionality this smoke has is to safely cross from each site, and to maybe get a sneaky lurk in for a few rounds. This smoke isn't great for team executes, as going anywhere other than kitchen requires you to walk out of a smoke, and all it takes is a defender holding that same smoke to punish you. Smokes aren't the only thing capable of gaining mid control. Most initiator utility is designed to push defenders away and zone them off from key angles, such as a breach stun along Art or Pearl, or a Sova dart top mid on Breeze. Both of these setups guarantee that no fight is advantageous for the nearby defenders, and also establishes a default of your team potentially pushing that zone every round. Remember, mid control doesn't have to be led into a site hit. Simply posting players up in power positions and preventing defenders from rotating anywhere other than their spawn is already giving your team an edge. With this comprehensive knowledge and understanding of Valorant's most important map feature, you've got all the tools to set up great team plays and site executes next time you hop into competitive. And if you like content like this, check out our video on the right where we explain how you can still have a great impact in a game even when your aim feels off. Also, be sure to subscribe to Esports Driven for more in-depth strategy guides like this one. We'll catch you next time.